Today's episode is sponsored by Spartan Chemical Company. Family owned and operated since 1956, Spartan Chemical is a leading manufacturer of superior and cost-effective specialty chemical products sold through select, trusted distributors. Spartan Chemical makes clean simple. For more information, please visit spartanchemical.com. One of the activities that you can do in your marketing is called networking. But a lot of people wonder, how do I network? How do I go to an event and maximize the time there, meet people I can do business with, and make a difference with my company? Well, we have those questions, but we also have an expert here to help us with that. I welcome Dean Mercado, the CEO of Online Marketing Muscle, specializing in digital marketing coaching. Dean, how are you today?
I'm wonderful, Jeff, and thank you once again for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Today's topic, I think about all the events I go to, and networking is huge, but I think it's undervalued or untapped to some people. They're not sure what to do. I know you have a simple 3-phase system.
Yes, absolutely. Now it's easy. I call it easy, but it's not simple because you have to actually use it. So yes, I do. And I'll be willing to share that with you today.
All right. Tell us all about it.
Okay, certainly. So before we get in, I want to preface everything that we talk about today. You must understand that nothing happens in business without people. Networking is just a mechanism for allowing people to communicate well, communicate effectively. The better you get at networking, the better your results will be in your business, hands down, period. Now, that's coming from a guy who spent the last 20 years in digital marketing, online side of things. And I'm telling you, I've been a hard and avid networker that entire time because people are critical, the people element. So this easy system I have for you is one that you need to think of. Most people, they will say, okay, we got an event coming up. I'm going to go to the event, and they don't think about the event prior. They don't really do any preparation. They just go to the event, and then they come out of the event saying, wow, that kind of sucked. I really didn't get much out of it. I got a couple of business cards, but, nothing really big. The problem is because when you don't approach it systematically, you end up with lackluster result. That's just typically the way it is, unless you get lucky, or if you happen to be one of those dynamic networkers that you could just drop off an airplane in a foreign land and they're good to go. I'm kind of one of those people where I can kind of do that, but that didn't come naturally. That came through years and years and years of doing this stuff and executing well and thinking about how I was executing. So here's the 3-phase system that I'm speaking about. Every network event that you're planning on going to, right? There is a before, a during, and an after. Those are your 3 phases, before, during, and after. Now, what you do in those 3 phases is critical. So let's take on the before. Before is your planning and your preparation. That's what you got to look at. That's the planning and preparation. That's knowing as much as you could know about that event, knowing about the people who are going to be there. If it's a trade type show, what booths are there? Who's going to be there? Who do you want to meet? And why do you want to meet them? That's the critical element. It's also about thinking about, can I invite anybody to the event? Is there anybody that I want to connect with deeper that I might be able to invite and have them tag along with me? Should I bring anybody from my team to the event? Could they add any value to it? See, most people step into events and they're just thinking hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. And it makes people go, they want to just back, get away. So the more you plan before, the more ready you are for the event, the better it's going to be for you. For example, in the before phase, you also want to prepare your 30-second speech. What's your elevator speech, right? What are you going to say when somebody asks you that dreaded question? Hey, what do you do? And I guarantee you somebody's going to ask you that. So if you're not ready to answer at least that question, you're going to have issues at that networking event. Don't let that be you. then we've got the second phase of the networking system here, and that's the during. This is the execution phase. This is you executing your game plan, right? So a couple of quick tips that you're going to want to know. Number one, show up early. Number two, you've got to look and be approachable, right? Dress the part. You want to make sure that you're wearing the appropriate clothing for the event. And I would say +1 it. So if it's typically a polo, maybe you want to throw a little blazer over that polo. And it just makes you a little bit more presentable. It makes you a little bit more approachable than the next person. You stand out a little bit. I also say things like be prepared to deliver your 30-second speech. Make sure you have it nailed, right? I also say learn how to listen better. Listen twice, speak once. Do more listening than speaking at the event, right? Everybody loves the sound of their own voice. Let them speak. It'll also help you understand who you want to go further with in a relationship here. So there's a lot of pieces you can use. Another thing, don't throw your business cards all over the place. Selectively use your business cards. Remember, treat your business cards with respect, and the people you give them to will respect your card a little bit more, right? So little details. So jumping into the third phase, now we've prepared properly. We've executed our game plan. Is the networking event over? And there's a big absolute no. It's not over yet. There's the after. Now the after is what you do to follow up and follow through on everything that just happened. One of the things I'll always tell you is as soon as the event is over, it could be you in your car in the parking lot. Start writing down, do a brain dump before you forget. Is there anything important that was said? What do you remember about each particular person? Is there anything that you want to make sure that you do or remember to do, right? Jot that down real quick. Then when you get back to the office, make sure that you have some sort of a CRM in place. Start pumping some of that information and intel into that CRM so that you remember this stuff, right? I'd also say look to trigger automation in this. Are there any follow-up campaigns that you can trigger that says, hey, it was great to meet you, Jeff? Are there any other campaigns you might trigger that say, hey, these 5 people I identified, I want to meet afterwards for a little one-on-one side thing? Do you have a campaign you could drop them into that just sends them an invite to maybe have some coffee, things like that? So this is the after. The after is also about you stopping long enough to say what went well, what didn't go so well. So we call that the lessons learned exercise. Always know that you need to understand how you performed. How are you going to raise your game next time? This is how we get better at it. So if you don't take the time and put the time on your calendar to allow yourself the before and the after in particular, because most of us only do the middle and we end up kind of not doing it very well, right? So if you really want to take this seriously, learn how to play the game a little bit better. Work on this, work on yourself, and you'll see a much better result.
Great stuff, Dean. Want a few questions?
Oh, I'm open to it. Whatever you got, man. Bring it on.
Well, I was thinking a lot of networking events that I go to, I've been to before. Trade shows, they repeat.
Yep.
People know you. Any thoughts there on how you might approach it differently? Because from what you described is more of a cold call type situation.
Sometimes. Well, one of the challenges that most of us fall into when we go to a regular type event like that is we fall into the same old. We end up in the same little corners talking to the same old people that we have no intention of doing anything with at any point. But our comfort zone drives us to lock down and waste a lot of time networking with people who we don't have intentions really on going further. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes there are people you just want to see. You love that person. It's great to connect, but keep it in perspective. Set some time maybe after the main core event part where you two can get together for dinner, or you can get together over lunch, or, hey, let's plan to have breakfast before we go in. So there's all types of things, especially if you're not in your hometown, right? I typically would organize breakfast meetings. I would organize lunch meetings. I'd organize dinner arrangements, drinks, whatever it takes. And those could be 4 different groups of people that I'm connecting with throughout the day in that way. So don't allow yourself to limit yourself, because that's what happens when we fall into that comfort zone issue. right? Just because you know Susie from last time doesn't mean you should spend 5 hours talking to Susie, who you have no intention of doing anything with, no business to be had there, right? So this is why it's understanding your game plan is critically important. Setting goals, critically important. Knowing exactly what you want and why you want it.
I've been to a few of these recently.
Sure.
I hand them my business card and they go, "Oh, I don't have a business card. I don't do that anymore." And they hold out their phone. They say, "Do this," and zap, you've got their contact information through some platform, or even LinkedIn has a program, and you can do a QR code scan as well. So, have you noticed that trend yourself?
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan. Okay. I look at it as it's a cop out. Why would you lose the opportunity to give somebody a piece of collateral that can linger on? And let me show you what I mean. I'll break out my business card. Now, remember, I'm in digital marketing. Why do I have a business card when I could easily do the LinkedIn thing you're talking about? Because if you create the right card, it comes with a cool little container for it, and you can pull out your card. And my card's not a normal card. It's smaller, right? It's a very thick stock.
Here, hand
it's
that
got
to
a
me.
Picture of
hand
me.
that to me. Just kidding.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So, and use all the real estate, even though it's a tiny card.
Okay.
It's maybe, a third of the size of a regular, or half the size of a regular card.
Interesting. Yeah.
You can, it stays with the person. And because it's different shape, because it's got my picture on it, sometimes we meet a lot of people at events. Try and remember who that person was. What do they look like? You see them the next day. What's their name? But most of us, when we go back to our hotel room or we leave the event, we look at the cards again. And if it has their picture on it, you'll remember that person's face. Then the next day, oh, yeah, it's Dean. Oh, yeah, it's Jeff. So never miss an opportunity and to market yourself. And that's a simple opportunity, but I don't just give this card to anyone. I make them earn it. They have to be somebody who's worthy of me giving the card to. And I don't say that to be a jerk. I say that to be respectful of myself, because a lot of times you're going to throw your cards all over the place. You know what you're going to end up? You're going to end up with a lot of spam in your emails. People are just going to email you, throw you on their mailing list. What am I on the mailing list for a cleaning company in Oklahoma for? I don't live in Oklahoma. No offense to them, but unless they've got, yeah. So this is what happens a lot, because people don't know what they're doing. So you don't just, it's not the first thing you hand out, but if you notice that there's some substance to the conversation that you're having, hey, let's stay in touch. Let's make it a point. Here's my card. It has my contact information on it. And then they might say to you what you said. Oh, well, I don't use cards. Well, why not?
Yeah, I've just noticed it. It's kind of a trend. I still use them. I have them in my pocket. I keep them with me, but I've noticed that some just do the digital thing. So
these cost how much? You know what I mean? It's like, and this is so small, I can't complain and say I have no room in my suitcase. Come on, so it's a little piece of collateral that can go a long way. Like on the backs of my cards, I have calls to action. And most of my cards have something different on the back. This one has my book, The Mind Stretch. Another one says something like, hey, you need help? Right. Here's another one. You need help? Go to this particular web address. So there's different things you can do, right? To maximize your effectiveness at an event. So unless money's an issue, or unless, you can't claim laziness here. You've heard it now. I'm a digital marketing guy telling you need your cards.
That's an interesting twist. Yeah. I didn't expect that, Dean. I did not expect you to go that route when I asked that question.
Yeah. Now I would say, don't bring these thick brochures and crazy, marketing collab. That's not what I'm saying, but a sharply done business card, right? Little piece of real estate can pack a massive punch if you use it correctly.
We should do an episode on just business cards one day.